Let's talk about what's really going on in Dallas right now, because once again, the big story coming out of Cowboys OTAs isn't just who's showing up, it's who's not. And yes, we're talking about Micah Parsons. Still no sign of him at organized team activities. And while technically it's all voluntary, let's be honest here. This is becoming a pattern that's impossible to ignore. It feels like the only times Micah makes an appearance are when offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer personally asks for it. Probably for some team cohesion sessions or leadership talks. Other than that, he's been MIA. Now no one's saying it's the end of the world. Again, it's voluntary, but it's frustrating because deep down we all know exactly why he's not showing up. He's holding out or holding off until that next contract comes through. And frankly, who can blame him? The man has earned a massive payday. But that doesn't make it any less annoying that the Cowboys front office continues to drag this process out like they have with so many other stars over the years. You look around the league and see how other franchises prioritize their cornerstone. Now, players, they get it done early, get it done right, and they don't let this kind of thing turn into a media storyline. But here we are again. Parsons is one of the best defensive players in the league, and yet this contract negotiation feels like it's moving in slow motion. And here's the kicker. We all kind of already know what the deal is going to look like. It's going to be massive. It's going to reset the market. There's no great mystery here. So why the wait? It's the same old Cowboys approach. Drag it out. Hope the price magically drops. Play the long game like it hasn't burned them before. But in reality, all it does is delay the inevitable. Because Parsons isn't going to suddenly ask for less money. His agent isn't going to blink. Well, this is a negotiation where the leverage is clearly with the player. You've got a generational talent at the peak of his powers, and the team is risking souring that relationship over a few months of stalling. And look, we're not saying Micah's been completely absent. He's shown up for some of the leadership-oriented sessions. He's made the effort when it mattered most to the team dynamic, and that says something. It tells you that while he may be frustrated with the contract situation, he's still trying to be part of the fabric of the locker room. But eventually, mandatory minicamps are going to roll around, then training camp. And the big question becomes, will he be there, fully participating? Or are we heading toward one of those infamous hold-in situations where the player shows up but doesn't actually practice? That's not a good place to be, especially for a team that needs its top stars locked in from day one. And again, this doesn't need to be some high-drama saga. It's not like the Cowboys are negotiating in the dark here. They've seen the contracts. They've seen the market. They know what it's going to take. They just have to decide to do it. And the longer they wait, the more unnecessary attention this gets. We shouldn't be sitting here in July or August talking about why Micah still doesn't have his deal done. This could be wrapped up tomorrow if the front office simply pulled the trigger. Meanwhile, there's some real news coming out of OTAs too. How one name that's quietly making waves is Tyler Guyton. This is a player who's getting more and more attention, and not just because he's a high draft pick. Schottenheimer went out of his way during media availability to shout him out, even when the question wasn't directly about him. That says something. When a coach pivots like that to highlight a player, it usually means they're seeing something special behind the scenes. He called Guyton's offseason terrific, praised his work ethic, said he's looking great and practicing at a high level. And it wasn't just lip service. According to those around the team, Guyton has not missed a single day. He was one of the first players back in the building, and he's been grinding ever since. He knows this year is huge for him, and he's acting like it. That level of professionalism, that willingness to attack the offseason like a vet, that's what separates starters from backups. And Guyton is trying to separate himself early. Now, let's be clear. It's still May. No pads, no real contact. Everything is still optimistic, but that's exactly what you want to see. This is the season for progress, for growth, for setting a tone. And so far, Guyton's setting the right one. There were definitely confidence issues last season. The coaching situation didn't help. And let's not even get started on last year's offensive line coach, who frankly did more harm than good for a young lineman like Guyton. But this year, new staff, new voice, new energy, and you can tell he's buying in. There's this idea of being in shape versus being in football shape. Two completely different animals. And it seems like Guyton is finally stepping into that football shape mindset. He's not just showing up, he's showing out. That matters, especially for a left tackle on a team that's counting on their offensive line to hold things together. If Guyton doesn't take that leap, the offense will feel it immediately. But based on what we're hearing now, he's given himself the best chance to succeed. Switching over to the defense, there's more competition heating up at linebacker. In nickel packages, it's been Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn running. With the ones. That's interesting, especially considering the other names on the roster. Murray makes sense. He's the most expensive linebacker on the roster right now, with a cap number higher than the rest of the top 4 combined. He's got the physical tools, the experience, and now he's got the opportunity. The only question is whether he can finally translate all that potential into consistent play. As for Sanborn, he's flying a bit under the radar, but don't sleep on him. He knows this system. He played under Matt Eberflus in Chicago, and that gives him a head start in terms of understanding the defensive structure and terminology. Last year, he was buried behind some really solid linebackers on the Bears depth chart, but this move to Dallas feels strategic. It's a lower profile signing, but one that could pay off in a big way if he clicks in this scheme. One thing that stood out was the rotation at nickel corner. Darren Bland continues to line up inside, and while the coaching staff keeps insisting they're rotating guys and trying out different looks, Bland has been at that spot consistently during the open practices. That matters. Like, if he locks down the nickel role, that raises questions about the outside spots, especially with Trevon Diggs still rehabbing. Suddenly, your outside corner depth gets thin real quick. Israel Mukuamu is still getting some nickel reps too. But if Bland is clearly ahead of him, then Izzy probably shifts back into that hybrid safety shell special teams role again. Another name getting reps inside is Kelvin Joseph. Yes, he's still hanging around and making the occasional play. And when you factor in that Diggs may not be ready for week 1, the urgency around cornerback depth becomes very real. Guys like Nahshon Wright, Eric Scott Jr., and even rookie prospects are going to have to step up in a big way during camp on. The offensive side, running back Miles Sanders had a couple of nice plays during the session, including a solid run up the middle and a screen pass that he broke for a big gain. It's May, so let's not overreact, but seeing him contribute in the passing game is a good sign. That's something that's been missing from his profile in recent years. It's clear this is going to be a committee approach in the backfield, and we're not really going to know how it shakes out until the pads come on during training camp. But early signs from Sanders are at least encouraging. At quarterback, Joe Milton had a better day, though it's still very much the full Joe Milton experience. Rocket arm, big-time throws, followed by baffling misses. It's like a video game where one throw looks elite and the next one sails into the third row. But hey, that's part of the fun. He's raw, he's got tools, and he's going to get a lot of preseason reps. The key will be whether he can tighten up the mechanics and turn those flashes into something more consistent. Now, let's talk briefly about Trevon Diggs. He hasn't been at OTAs either, but this isn't a holdout situation. He's rehabbing. And this time around, it looks like he's taking it seriously. The Cowboys were very public last year with their frustrations over how he handled the recovery process. And it seems like Diggs heard them loud and clear. This time, he's doing things on his own schedule. And it looks like he's following the right plan. No need to panic yet, as long as he avoids any off-season distractions, especially the kind involving boat parties and questionable beverages. There's still time for him to get back on track before the season. And then we've got the situation at right guard. Tyler Booker has been getting first-team reps. And although Schottenheimer tried to downplay it by mentioning other players like Brock Hoffman and Robert Jones rotating in, it's pretty clear Booker is the guy they're grooming for that starting spot. The rotation is normal. Teams want to get everyone some reps across different positions, especially in case of injury. But let's be real. Booker is the starter unless something unexpected happens. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The NFL rumor mill is in full swing, and whispers are growing louder about a potential seismic shift in Dallas. According to several unnamed sources close to the situation, the Dallas Cowboys could be eyeing a blockbuster move to acquire none other than all-pro linebacker Fred Warner, the defensive anchor of the San Francisco 49ers. While nothing has been confirmed, and both organizations have remained predictably tight-lipped, insiders suggest that Dallas is seriously considering bringing Warner in to spearhead a new defensive era. For years, the Cowboys have boasted one of the league's most potent offenses, but their defense, while improving, has often struggled to match the same level of dominance. The potential addition of Warner could instantly change that narrative. Known for his sideline-to-sideline speed, football IQ, and leadership qualities, Warner would give Dallas the kind of defensive general it hasn't had since the glory days of the 1990s. Of course, such a move would come at a hefty price. Warner is not only one of the most respected linebackers in the NFL, but also under contract with San Francisco for the foreseeable future. Any trade would likely require significant draft capital, perhaps even multiple first-round picks, and possibly a high-caliber player in return. That hasn't stopped speculation from running rampant, especially with recent comments from Cowboys front office figures about aggressively exploring defensive upgrades. Adding fuel to the fire, some analysts have pointed out that the 49ers may need to make tough financial decisions in the coming seasons, given their salary cap commitments to other star players. Could that open the door for a stunning trade involving Warner? It's impossible to say for sure, but the Cowboys' rumored interest seems to reflect a desire to not only contend, but dominate in the ultra-competitive NFC fans and pundits alike are watching closely as this story develops. While it remains firmly in the realm of speculation for now, the idea of Fred Warner donning the iconic star on his helmet is enough to send shockwaves through the league. Is this just smoke? Or is there real fire behind the scenes in Dallas? Only time will tell. But one thing's for certain. If this move happens, it could define the next decade of Cowboys football. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.